Fantastic. Thank you so much, Henna. Yeah, so just to kind of follow up on what Henna just went through, when it comes to some of the analytic and reporting dashboards, what we wanted to do is, not just show it in slides, we wanted to show you in the system and show you the product as well at the same time. So what I'm doing is I'm jumping over here into our P&L report book. Before we dive into the P&L report book, it's worth highlighting the launchpad that we see on the screen right now. So throughout this demo, you'll notice that there are embedded launchpads to guide the user through specific processes. These kind of serve as navigational tools to kind of enhance the user's experience and then help with that user adoption as well. Additionally, we've also included built-in instructions and help guides, again, to support users in completing their day-to-day activities more efficiently and effectively as well. So as we get into our P&L report book here, it is actually a dynamic, interactive financial dashboard that provides you kind of a comprehensive summary of your company's things like revenue, costs, expenses, all for a specific period in time as well. And what you're seeing right now, this report out of the box, it can easily be exported into a PowerPoint or a PDF format that can then easily be shared across your organization as well. So in our example, we're looking at our entity Best Run Corp, and we're actually looking at the month of December here. So I'm going to jump into our summary tab. So as this gets loaded here, our year-to-date summary page, this kind of delivers you with immediate insights into your key financial metrics, including things like total sales, gross profit, operating income, and net income as well. Thanks to the interactive nature of the dashboard as well, we can actually use the drill down capabilities to kind of drill down, for instance, into exploring figures that go into for total sales by quarter, and then you can actually drill down even further and go to month as well. So again, the platform is built to be able to kind of see your data in a lot of different formats, allowing you to kind of report and then have numbers and have those discussions with your team accordingly as well from these reports. So in addition to this report, actually we're showing our actuals at the moment. We can actually easily switch between different versions as well. So if I wanted to see this report based on budget or based on forecast or based on targets, I can actually just select either one of these versions from the dropdown, and it will automatically change some of the KPIs and functions on the screen to kind of reflect now that new version as well. And then again, easily change back accordingly as well. So in regards to some of the KPIs, in addition, we've actually built in analytic visualizations as well, such as the operating income bridge report that you see here. What we've done is we've actually leveraged the calculation engine that kind of derives and identifies different variance drivers as well based on your data. So this actually can be reused in your own reports without you having to rebuild them from scratch as well. And then we also have some additional visualizations when it comes to the operating income and total sales by month as well. So just real quick, jumping over into some of the other areas of this report, the trend report, it provides kind of a Excel-based guided narrative style view of your P&L results and margin trends for over the last 3 months. It's designed to kind of offer you a really quick visual snapshot of your short-term financial performances as you're doing as your organization. And then jumping over here into our prior year comparative, this report actually allows you to see a comparative view of your finances at a month to date, quarter to date, and at a year to date level. We can also have a trailing 12 months if that's something that you're interested in. And we can see our current year, we can see our previous year, and then we can see our variance as well. And with the variances, these calculations can be seen in the whole dollar amounts as well as the percentages as well. We have some additional operating bridge reports here as well that you can do some additional comparisons on. Right now we're seeing our actuals versus budget. If we wanted to see our actuals versus forecast or target, again, very easy to kind of for the user to kind of see that information within the report book as well. So just kind of looking at the comparative page, this provides a side-by-side view of our actuals versus budget, and it includes, again, both the dollar values of the variance and also the percentage variance. This kind of helps highlight where performance is exceeding or failing, or falling short, sorry, of expectations as well. And this gives the user a real, business user a real quick view into that as well. And then just jumping over into our comparative comments page. So this page allows your teams to capture commentary related to the different variances identified in the comparative report. So for example, at month end, as your managers get into this report, they can actually capture specific information on the different variances. And what the system will do, I'll just add this in here, service contract. What the system will automatically do as I add this comment, it's actually going to capture that comment and then also capture the user that's entered it and then that date and timestamp as well. So that, as these comments are being entered to explain some of these variances that we see from different managers and different departments, these can actually then also be aggregated and filtered to provide a corporate level view across all your departments as well. So at the corporate level, you're able to see everyone's comment on the screen, and at that department level, the users are really able to home in and kind of see what their numbers are and then provide explanations based on what we have within how we've performed for the month. And then again, just to kind of mention again, these can actually be exported into a PDF or into a PowerPoint very easily. And what you can also do is you can also apply some filters so that these reports are built based on entity or department, if they're the filters that we have. So this really makes it easy to kind of distribute and tailor these versions across your organization as well, and then share that accordingly. So that's just a real quick overview of some of the analytics in the P&L report book. As a planner gets in, there is two different processes that we can follow. Is that annual process that is setting up those annual targets and then getting ready for that monthly plan. And then there's actually the monthly planning process as well. And as Hannah mentioned, this is where you can work to build out your P&L and then work on building out other financial statements like your working capital, balance sheet, and cash flow as well. I'm actually just going to jump into actually the annual process first, just to set up and show how we can set up those annual targets within the system. So within this page, as a user, there's a number of different ways that we can start building out our annual plan. So we can actually seed data from the prior year actuals, and we can do that by selecting the data action, and we can actually select, we want to take the target version is going to be our budget, and we want to source that from our actuals. So we can go ahead and do that. So we're going to source that from, let's just say 2025. And we're going to source that from our actuals. And here we can actually, again, we can do a bit of a growth update percentage as well. So if we want to increase it by 5%, we can actually set that up, and we can do that to our actuals. And then our target horizon, again, we can select the new year. So in this example, I'm just going to plan for 2026. And as I run this, what that's doing is that's actually initially starting our 2026 plan with bringing in some of our actuals into, bringing in our prior year actuals into 2026. So hasn't come up there, but I'll just use 2025 as an example here. So once we do have our targets set, we can actually come in here, and as a user, I can make adjustments. So we can do top-down planning, and we can also do some bottoms-up planning as well. So from the top down, if we wanted to, in addition to increase our total sales, we can actually do an additional 3%. And as a user, I can just put in 3%, and I can put in that plus or minus. And what the system will do is it will automatically calculate that information and then disaggregate that down our P&L so that all the numbers are reflecting that new number based on the inputs that we've put in. And then again, that's at the very top level if we wanted to do planning at the top level, but of course we can drill down based on our hierarchies within our model, and we can actually make adjustments at lower levels as well. So if I wanted to increase our service sales by 10%, I can make that change, and what the system will do is, again, it will aggregate that and disaggregate that down so I can see how that's going to impact my total plan accordingly as well. And then on this screen as well, as I'm making adjustments, I'm able to see that how that impacts some of my gross margins per the year, and then we can actually have an idea of our targets and budgets and forecasts from our prior year at the bottom here as well. So in addition to kind of seeding those targets from last year's actuals, you can actually use the predictive forecast to actually build out your annual plan using predictive analysis, or you can actually start with a zero-based budget as well. It all really depends on what you want to do, very flexible within the platform as well. So from here, just kind of jumping into now, we've done the annual processing that you saw on the Launchpad. So now as the user and the planner is coming in to do some of the planning at more of a month level, this is where we can actually come in and we can actually make those adjustments accordingly as well. And as you'll see on the screen, as I was making change in the other story, we can actually see any changes that are made to our plan. They're actually reflected with that yellow background, and this kind of indicates that a change has been made to that data entry point as well. So we can see how our changes are kind of impacting, again, our overall income statement in this example. And here we're looking at our budget and we're looking at all departments. But again, as a user, I can come in and drill down and start to plan for specific departments. And again, with security settings, based on what I am assigned to and what I'm allowed to see, the story and the platform will automatically only display information that I'm allowed to see and edit as well. So you have that security base put in as well. So in addition to planning our budget, we can then go ahead and plan for our forecast. Again, these are all the different versions that we can be able to plan against. And again, we can also seed accordingly as well. And then, you know, Hannah also mentioned earlier is some of the scenario planning that we can do. So as a user, I have the ability to come into the system, and the platform allows me to create a version which is considered a private version, which then I can do some scenario planning off of. So if I go ahead and if I just go to my version management, I'm going to go to my version management. Here, what I can do is I can actually make a copy of a version that already exists. So if I take my budget, and I'm just going to make a copy of my budget, and I'm going to name that scenario 1. What that's going to do is that's going to add a new scenario here, our scenario 1. And what we can then do is, based on what the changes we make, this is where we can do some scenario planning and make some additional changes. So I can make some changes to our office expenses in this example, see how that would impact our overall plan, and then even make some additional adjustments to some of the travel. You know, also, again, you know, very easy to kind of see how this scenario will play out and the impact it would have on our overall P&L. And with this, what I can also do is, with my scenario, right now it is just a private version. I can actually go ahead and now share this with others in my organization. And I can share this as a read-only file or a read and write. So if I was to share this with Henna, he can also come in to our expense forecast here, and we can actually work on this scenario together, make changes, and then also then submit that for approval to a manager or through an approval process to then actually be reviewed. And then if everything looks good, this can actually then be published back into our actual plan, so that the next time we logged in, we're now seeing our new budget based on all of the information and the scenario that we've just built. So really good collaboration tool that allows you to collab across your organization, and then also do that scenario planning for yourself as well, and as a user, and really see how some of those changes and scenarios would impact your overall plan accordingly. And then in addition to planning some of the P&L, you can also have the ability to kind of work on reviewing your working capital. This is where you can actually maintain drivers such as the DSO, DIO, and DPO. You can make changes here and then see that impact to your accounts receivable as well, essentially by running the data action. And what that's going to do, let me go ahead and just choose the period here. And what that do is the changes that we've made, that will essentially then show us the impact again to our accounts receivable, which we'll see at the bottom here as well within our working capital. Similar to our working capital, we do also have the balance sheet and then the cash flow as well, all within our planning templates that the users are able to kind of review and then work across accordingly as well. So as this gets updated, and as that data action is running, it is actually doing all of those calculations in the background, and then it's going to make those adjustments and update our plans accordingly to reflect those changes. So again, as I make those changes to my DIO, we're able to see all of that impact within our accounts receivable as well. So as Hannah mentioned, in order to get to that point where we've seen our analytic reports, we've seen those planning templates, in order to get there, there is initial maintenance that needs to be done, an initial setup. This is where the admin comes in, and they can actually set up some of these things. And there's two different processes in order to kind of maintain that, do that monthly maintenance. And it starts off with initiating the planning process. And this is where, if you don't have those live currency conversions connected, which the platform allows for, but we also allow for you to be able to kind of maintain currencies manually, as well as kind of uploading them accordingly as well. So again, this is where you can actually maintain some of that currency information that you want to then use throughout the planning process. So this is just a manual entry input form, but again, this could be something that is automatically set up based on pulling in from your accounting system or from a site as well. The tool is very flexible when it comes to setting that up. And essentially then that will allow us for currency conversion and being able to plan within different currencies and do currency conversion within reporting as well. So once that currency conversion is set up, some of the other aspects that the admin needs to do is just adjust appropriate time ranges if that's something that you want to set up, and then also lock last book actuals so that we can then continue to plan against that going forward. And then I did mention earlier, again, our launchpads are based to show step-by-step guided experience for that end user. And then, as I had mentioned, we also have instructions embedded in the launchpad. So again, this is really supposed to be for the end users, for the ease of use, so that they can come in here and they can perform their daily activities with everything that they need at, and not having to kind of switch between spreadsheets or different systems. Everything is all within that one platform as well. So in addition to kind of maintaining some of that currency, this is where we can actually, we can actually maintain some of the master data as well when it comes to entity, local accounts, products, departments, and group chart of accounts as well. And this is where we can kind of do that mapping accordingly as well as an admin, and set up files so that then the business users can come in and actually upload their information accordingly as well. So this is very easy in a way that we can set this up, copy and paste, upload, or even direct connections as well. And then essentially once these admin aspects are done, this is when we can actually open up the period if we're looking to start that month planning, and then have users come in and do their monthly planning. And then also the second part of the admin processes is to actually archive off historical data, and then also lock versions as well when it comes to the close of that planning process. So very easily, within the platform, there's a just ask feature. What this is using is actually using AI in the background to kind of build out reports based on text or questions that you're asking the solution. So if I go in and if I just start to type in 2024 sales actuals and forecast, and if I hit enter, what the system is doing, it's taking that ask, and it's actually going in and checking all of our data, and it's actually building out reports for me automatically. So as a user, this is a really good way to kind of see insights and get your analytic visualizations and check your data accordingly as well. So just by asking that question, it's actually brought back our results, so we can see our products, we can see our actuals versus our forecast for the year of 2024. And what I can do is I can continue to add on to this in order to see some additional information. So if I wanted to now see by date, I can just type in by date. And the system, again, is going to start building out these analytic visualizations. And of course, then these visualizations, they can be added to stories, they can be added to reports, to dashboards, or again, they can even be shared across the organization as well. So as it's bringing out as it sees fit, it will actually show the information in different visualizations, and I can see it in more of that grid-based report as well, or I have the option to kind of see it in more of a visualization as well. And then again, I can continue to add on to this, and I can actually do by country as well. So it's bringing in additional information based on our data models and our data set as well. And really easy to kind of build out these analytic visualizations and reporting capabilities. And then from here, I can actually then go into kind of making some additional changes as well. So we can actually go into a dashboard where it's actually going to allow us to, it's going to bring up the data analyzer dashboard. And this is where we can analyze the data that we've just retrieved by typing in that question to just ask. And we can actually make some additional changes here. So within the builder panel, this is where now I can kind of build out my report accordingly. So I can add some more things. So if I wanted country and version is already there, I can actually just through drag and drop, as I'm moving things around based on rows and columns, you're going to see that change within the report as well. So I moved version to the bottom here, and I'm actually going to go ahead and add store, for example, drag that across to my rows so that I can see my stores, and then maybe put in product catalog as well, and I can see that. And then I can drill down through dates as well. So right now I can go to the drill down function and I can go to level 4. So it kind of expands our date function as well. And this is where, you know, within a few clicks, I've now built out a 2024 actuals versus forecast for via country, store, and product group as well. And then also using some of the personalizations and styling information, styling templates, we can actually update the report accordingly as well. And then of course, now that I have this report built out, I can actually save this and then again share this across with others in the organization, or I can even then just put this into a story and publish this out as well. So, you know, the platform has some really good capabilities to be able to build out these reports once you have data in the system as well. And with it being a very much for the end user, these self-service tools are very tailored towards that end user to be able to kind of drag and drop, build out reports accordingly without having to kind of reach out to a third party or an IT team to kind of build out these reports accordingly as well.
We are all finance people. We love our spreadsheets. We don't want to kill spreadsheets. We want to reutilize spreadsheets, but in a different way. So this is why there is a very, very strong and powerful Excel spreadsheet add-in existing that you can use to utilize either existing spreadsheet planning and reporting processes that you have, or even build out new ones based on one-off models or whatever, right? If there's a certain business unit having the need to go into data structures that are not part of your group view, if you will, they can still build out their planning template or reporting template in the way they are used to, and only individual rows, if you will, or data points are directly either pulled from your system or being written back into your system. The importance here is really that you have this direct tie to your system and not have any one-off where data is stored or calculations are stored in the spreadsheet from a group perspective, right? You want to standardize as much as possible, right? And you can reuse a lot of the work that you have done. A lot of customers are using this as a bridge into the new modern world. You can connect the spreadsheet through the add-in directly with your solution and reutilize what is existing.
With the Excel add-in, you're able to add the platform SAP Analytics Cloud into Excel and then be able to kind of do some offline reporting. And as Henna mentioned, you know, if you have teams that are reporting at different levels that you're not essentially reporting at within the tool, this is where you can kind of still leverage the Excel. So they're still planning in those templates, and then see those updates reflected in the web UI as well. So within Excel, you know, you can set up these templates using the SAP Get and SAP Set dimensions. So this allows us to kind of make sure that we're pulling in data specifically from our models and from the platform as well. So just in that example that we've both mentioned, you know, we have our P&L here, and you may have, again, users that are planning at more of a granular level offline, and then you can actually have that imported or automatically updating the web UI. So within our offline statement here, we're actually looking at office expenses and supplies, and then we're going down one more level to front and back office. As a user, you know, as a planner, I can come in here and I can make the change to my back office here, and then I can see how that impacts my actual budget coming into April. We'll see that change here. And then what we can do is we can actually process this data that will then push the information into the web UI as well, so that we can see those changes there. So as I go ahead and make that change and then publish the data, I will prompt. Let me go into the web UI. This is actually the web UI screen. I can go ahead and refresh the data. And again, those changes that I've made in the offline workbook are now reflected within our P&L as well. So it's really good to be able to kind of use the tool to kind of capture information or still leverage Excel as needed, but then also make sure that everything is up to date within the web UI and within the platform as well.